As urgent rescue efforts continue in the wake of Oklahoma's killer tornado, here are the latest developments we're watching right now. The death toll is now at least 24, including 9 children. It was revised lower today after some early confusion. At least 237 people were injured. The storm, more than a mile wide, carved a path of destruction 17 miles long through the Oklahoma City suburbs, including in Moore, where I am reporting from right now. Throughout the disaster zone, at least 100 people have been pulled alive from the rubble. Officials say the search goes on board by board until every vehicle, every ruined structure is examined. They say not once, not twice, but 3 times. They don't want to make any mistakes. Rebecca Vitzman was prepared to ride out the tornado with her 19-year-old son, Anders, in the bathtub. 19-month-old son, excuse me. He's not 19 years old. He's 9. And Rebecca is here. There's Anders. Anders, how do you feel right now? Say good.
Anders, can you say good? No.
Okay, he's a little shy right now. He's got that microphone. Yeah. All right, so Rebecca, tell us what happened. You were at home. Your husband was away on the road, right?
He was on the interstate.
And you were in your house.
Yeah.
And you're not from this area.
I'm from Louisiana.
All right, so what did he say to you if there were a tornado? What did he say?
He and all the other Oklahomans always say, you stay in your home. You stay in your home. And, you know, they always say, you know, it never hits anybody. I've lived here my entire life. It never hits. And, you know, you don't leave. And there's been times when I was pregnant with him, I was in the bathtub with a helmet on my head, crying and begging to leave. And he'd say, no, we're not going anywhere. And then it didn't hit us. And I was like, okay, maybe you're right. I don't know. But I never felt that way.
Sorry, so yesterday, around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you're home alone.
Yeah.
Right? And you got Anders and you, and what do you do?
Well, I've been watching the news all day, and it kept saying, oh, it's going to come at 6, or it'll come, and then it even pushed it back, it's coming at 8. And so when I saw clouds outside, I was like, okay, why are there clouds? And then I looked, and then they started saying all the buzzwords that I'm used to hearing here. It's the hook, it's strengthening, it's feeding, you know, and then they showed, you know, so I immediately went and I got my tub and it had some water and I put a towel down and I went and grabbed his mattress and I brought it into the bathroom with us and I put the laptop there for us to watch what was going on, and then they showed it and they said that was 44, and then they showed its projection and it was like crossing my street, and whenever I saw it I just panicked. I just looked at it and I said, I'm not staying.
You were in the bathtub. You were lying in the bathtub with Anders.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're at a laptop. They're like streaming TV.
It was 5 miles away.
5 miles away.
And they said it's strengthening, and it was on the ground. I see debris flying in the air from this thing, and it's coming right for me. And I'm from Louisiana. We have hurricanes, and when they're big, you just leave, you know. And it was sort of like suddenly telling me, you know, there's a hurricane that's going to hit your house in 10 minutes, you know.
So what did you do?
I ran. I didn't have any shoes on. I didn't grab anything. I was mad that I had to get keys. Like, I couldn't believe I had to get my keys. That was
to the car.
Yeah, it was so frustrating to have to get keys, you know. I just wanted to leave. And I didn't even put him in his car seat, and I just put him in my lap, and I kept thinking, they're never going to pull me over. You know, why would they do that?
And you just started driving.
I just drove. I drove, but I started feeling guilty that he was on my lap. I was just like, this is a bad decision. So I got him out just past the high school when I pulled over, and I went to put him in his car seat, but the winds were so hard that it was like blowing him sideways. And so
it was like torrential out there. It was raining. It was windy. This
was at least a half a mile away from my house, and it was windy like that. So I just shoved him in his car seat and clicked the top, and then went another mile, and then went and fixed his car seat.
And you saw the tornado?
Yeah.
How far was the tornado from where you were?
About 2 miles.
And so you were just trying to drive in the opposite direction?
Oh, no. Yeah, I drove south because it was going northeast. So
and that's
I just
it.
drove south.
And you just drove away as fast as you could.
Yeah, and then I just sat there, and then I said, Anna. And then I realized that my cats were at the house, you know, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to go back. I gotta see if they're okay.
How long did you sit before you made that U-turn and went back?
Oh, no, 15 minutes.
Now, your husband is away. He's on the interstate.
He was closer.
And did you have a cell phone with you or anything?
No, we don't even own cell phones because we've decided not to catch up with the modern age.
All right, so your husband's, he thinks you're at home.
He thinks I'm there.
He thinks you're inside the house in the bathroom.
Yeah, and he actually, I knew we were safe, so I stayed in the traffic to get back because everybody is trying to go back. And then I didn't have shoes, but I found some heels in my back seat, and I threw those on, so I had to kind of tiptoe all the way back. It took me forever, maybe 45 minutes.
All right, so you get back to your house.
Yeah.
And what do you see?
I mean, he's just searching for us.
Your
my
husband?
husband's
He's there.
on top of
the house is what?
Nothing. I'm this.
The house looks like this.
Yeah, I mean, just like this.
So
there's less standing. Like those chairs are standing. We don't have anything.
And your husband thinks you and Anders are inside.
Well, he found the towel.
We're going to show our viewers a picture of the house.
He found a towel on the bottom of the bathroom, and he found the mattress like next to it. So he knew that that's what I do. That's like the thing we do. And then the helmet. He remembered that I put on a helmet and cried last time. So he found Anders' helmet, and he didn't know what to think.
So he thought you were inside.
He watched it hit,
and he thought you were dead.
Yeah.
He thought Anders was dead.
Yeah.
And that you were underneath that rubble.
Yeah. I mean, the car, was gone, but our neighbor's car was like on our house, so there's no reason to think that my car couldn't have just been somewhere else.
I mean, it's like cars were flying around as if they were nothing during this 200-mile-an-hour tornado, when you think about what's going on. All right, so obviously he sees you at one point. He's home.
I screamed. I just screamed at the top of my lungs.
Tell us, describe that scene.
As soon as I didn't know he would be there. There's no reason for me to have thought he would be there, especially before me. I mean, I just went down the road and came back. But he had ran from his car to try to get there, and whenever I screamed, I just went, Brian! And he just ran up, and then we both cried and hugged, and it was actually really cute because when we all three hug, Anders always says, aw.
He does?
And we just bursted into tears. It was awesome.
Anders, he talks a lot, but he's pretty shy right now.
He likes preoccupied. That microphone. He just needs something to...
Yeah, I think he's happy, a happy little guy.
Yeah.
And you're a happy young lady.
I couldn't be happier.
You survived...
I saw the bathtub.
I mean, when you think about it, if you would have stayed in that house...
No, there's no way. Our bathtub was full of debris. Like, the place I would have been was just full of, 2x4s and everything else, There's nothing... There's no way. And that's hard to think about.
Anders, I'm going to train you now to become an anchorman, okay? He doesn't want to let go.
Try to pry it from him.
He's strong. You got to hold it like this. You put it in front of your mouth and look at the camera over there, Anders.
Can you say hi?
Yeah, say, I'm Anders and this is CNN. Can you say that?
Can you say, how old are you? No, he's not going to say anything. Can you say bye-bye? Bye-bye. No.
He's a shy little guy.
Not today.
Oh, he said it. Okay, good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Shake hands.
Yeah, shake his hand. Can you high five?
No.
No?
Okay.
Oh.
All
yeah.
right, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Such a sweet little guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, you're blessed. Yeah. Brian, your husband, is blessed. Anders is blessed.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian. You like Brian, huh? That's your dad. Well, we're happy you're here. You guys did a great job. Yeah. And I guess you got to thank the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Do you thank the Lord for that split-second decision?
I'm actually an atheist.
Oh, you are? All right, don't thank the Lord. But you made the right call.
Yeah. We are here, and I don't blame anybody for thanking the Lord.
Of course not. So. Hey, all right, Anders, want to try one more time? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good for you.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We're happy. We're so happy that you're happy.
No.
Yeah.
A nice story.
You see the balls. Yeah.
The bowling balls. All right, he's 18 months old, and he's going to have a happy life.
Yeah.
All right, Rebecca, thank you.
Yes,
thank
you.
Brian, too.
Yeah, well.
What a nice story. A happy ending to an excellent story. We have more stories, though, not all of them as happy as Rebecca's story ahead. We're going to hear from the family of 2 children. They say a daycare operator, also nothing less than a hero after what they went through. We'll share the details right after this.
My baby.
Your baby.